It is time. It is time that we get on to AI. I mean, we're finally ready to start, at least. I've still kind of got absolutely no clue what I'm doing, but so far, we are looking at this. So this is a behavior tree, and basically it's like the brain of the AIs. So starts at the root, goes into a selector here. So basically it will do this, that fails, then it will do this. So what this is, just some wandering behavior that I've set up. So the husk will just wander around, it'll find a location to wander to, then it will wander to that location, and then it will wait between 2 and 18 seconds. So that all works really well. We've got our man here, and he's just gonna sit there, and then after a little while, he's gonna find a new place to walk to. Let's wait, we might, there we go. So now he's moving somewhere else, now he's moving somewhere else. And as you can see, yeah, he's walking rather than running. So the other thing that's really, really handy for debugging is while we're simulating the game and this guy's doing his thing and whatever, you can see down here on the screen, if I go to the actual screen, you can see what's happening in the behavior tree. And for some reason it's just failed itself, so what the yeah, you can see that it's currently waiting, then after that's done, that'll fail, it'll go back up the chain and start from here again. The other thing that I've started to kind of work on is having the AI detect the player or detect any other living creature or whatever. If we go in, you can see when he sees me, he starts running after me, and I need to figure out, this is where I'm up to now, I need to figure out a way to check that he's within attacking range, and when he's in attacking range, put him into combat stance and have him strafe around and periodically attack at me and whatnot. It's kind of, this is where I'm stuck. Rightio, so what we've done is God, I'm so bad at these buttons. Right, so when a combat target is set, what it's gonna do is constantly update these values to do with combat. So in here we've got the mouse projectile trace, which is for the player, that's where is the mouse on the screen and send a trace, blah, blah, blah. But for the parent class, this is just a variable that's fed into the character rotation when in combat mode and stuff, and also where their attack will like immediately rotate to. And then we also check the distance between the target, the combat target, and the controlled pawn of the AI. And then we get the distance between them, and then if that's less than whatever the attack range of the monster or the person, depending on if they've got a short weapon or a long weapon or something, that is where we will say is in attack range or is not in attack range. It all kind of seems to work. So in the behavior tree, when they're not in combat range, they're going to run to the combat target. And just as a little safety check, it will exit combat mode so that they can run at full speed rather than strafing and whatnot. But when they are in attack range, then we set them into combat mode, and that's when this is where we start our sort of attacking and strafing and, you know, the whole shebang-a-bang of how the combat for each character works. So at the moment, I've just got it set to as soon as they enter it, attack, and then just wait 20 seconds so I can just test whether or not they're actually following the player. So if we jump into the game, I clicked the wrong button and I did it again. There we go. So you can see this guy here, so I'm not in combat range, so he's coming over to me, and then when he comes into combat range, he's going to attack and then wait 20 seconds. And while he's waiting, he'll still be following. You can see he's moving on the spot, rotating to see my dude, which is very promising. So all I really have to do is somehow figure out how to make it strafe around the player. Hopefully it kind of works. So anyway, I'll be back when I figure out something. Maybe only like 2 minutes later, I've come up with a solution. Back to our dooble. That is not it. Here, so I've made a service called Combat Strafe, and at the moment all it does is get the actor's right vector and then uses that to add movement input whenever they're in combat mode. I've just added it here. It ticks every 0 seconds, which I'm guessing is every game tick. So, jump into game. So you can see, when he comes near me, when he's waiting, he'll just be moving right. And because he's always oriented towards me, because he's in combat mode and I'm his target, he ends up just strafing around me. Whether I'm going fast or whether I'm close to him or far from him, he's always facing me and moving right. And so what I can do is, within the AI, have a timer between 1 and 5 seconds or something, chooses a new rotation of that vector. So sometimes he'll be going directly right, sometimes he'll be going, right and forward, sometimes he'll be going left, and that way they'll always be sort of moving around the player or away from or towards the player. It'll just give them a sense of sort of randomness, like they're sort of scoping me out and trying to do their thing. Okay, so I'm starting to get the hang of this. I'm starting to sort of figure out how it all works and what the difference between a sequence and a selector is, and a decorator or a service or a task and whatnot. As I, kind of keep doing these pretty simple things, I think they'll turn into quite complex behaviors soon enough. So there's two different sort of circles around the player, I guess you could say. There's one where they'll come into combat range, which is about 400 units, and then another one where they're in attack range, which, will be dependent on what weapon the humanoid is using or the specific creature and whatnot. I need to do another animation that sort of like a charge-up attack for their jumping attack, because at the moment it's just really, really sudden and there's no sort of telegraphing at all. I'll report back when I've done that and put it in. Well. We done it. We've done it. I've done the thing. Let's see. So, there's our dude. He's gonna see us. Yep. He's gonna swipe at us. He's gonna attack if we're close enough. He's gonna do his jumping attack if he's in range and not already moving, like that. Kind of wiggles his butt like a cat. Very funny. Yeah, looks good, feels good. If he's already moving and then comes into combat range, he'll do like a chasing attack where he swipes, which is pretty neato. I'm gonna have a little break, gonna watch some games of StarCraft 2, and once my brain isn't so scrambled, we'll get back into it. Right, so I've got parrying and dodging all sort of implemented. I'll show you what I've got. If I can find our boy over here. So you can see whenever they turn green, that means that they've hit. So that little bit there, that hit. And yeah, and it creates sparks instead of blood when you parry. I haven't actually done checking if you're facing the right way for the parry to work. I think what I'll do is use dot products instead of making like a hitbox in front of the player. So I'll probably draw a vector from the player to where the mouse is, so it's like instantaneous. So if someone's behind you, you'll be able to just do this, and it'll block it. So then get a vector from the enemy to the player and sort of compare those two vectors when parry frames are active to see if the parry was successful. I've added in flinching as well, so if I'm like mid-attack and I get hit, it cancels the attack and sort of locks you out of any actions for like a second or two. Yeah, so it's kind of looking pretty nice, actually. A little bit of progress. I've got this sort of capsule that's in front of the player's capsule, and basically this will only have collision when the parry active frames are active, because beforehand when you were parrying and it was in, you know, the parry window, it would only parry if they hit anywhere on your body, whereas we kind of want it to hit in front of us and whatnot. And, you know, this is just sort of a generalized area that should kind of just make it feel a bit better. Something I was finding was an enemy would swipe past me and I'd parry and it would travel between here and I'd be stuck, you know, in the parry recovery window, and it sucked. So this should make it a bit better. I'm just gonna go and cook some gnocchi real quick because I'm quite hungry, and then I'll get on to making the dot product to make sure that you're facing the right way for the parry to have worked. Alright, we are back with a beautiful gnocchi with some sage and spinach and walnuts. Keen as a bean. So, let's get stuck back into it. I've done something, and it's just going to print up the top what the value is of this dot product that I've tried to figure out. Come on, hit me. Hit me. Okay, so that was 0.9. So if I'm dead on, it should be 1. And if I'm way off, it should be, yep, in the negatives. Okay, this kind of looks like it is working. Cool, it all works. So now we just have to say, is it greater than, let's just say 0.5, which would be, so this is 1, this is 0, this is -1, then 0.5 would be like 45 degrees either side. If parry active frames are true, then we go to this branch, and then if dot product is successful, then we go and do whatever happens when parry happens, which is flinch the current action of whoever's attacking and hit parried for the person that was hit. Then we do knockback on both the characters, so they sort of come back from one another a little bit, and spawn some sparks. If the dot product isn't successful, then go ahead with what would have happened if they weren't parrying in the first place. Come on. Please. Please. Just a regular old little attack. There we go. Okay, that... Not sure what's happening there. Dot product. Yep. Ah. I've got less than... why am I so dumb? Alright. That should definitely work now. Should absolutely, definitely, no questions, work. Yep. To make sure that it works this way. Come on. Come on. Okay, that worked. And this shouldn't work. Come on. Yep. Yep. Fantastic. Well, that's parrying all sorted. So, not really sure what we'll do next, because, I don't know, it's sort of just feeling how I want it to feel. If I get a few husky boys, Let's give them a good old go at me. Oh god. Ah! Oh shit. Oh fuck. I'm quite bad at this. Oh shit. Ah! Let's get some kicks in. Some stab kick combos. Ooh. Ah, fuck. One of them's pretty easy to take on, but I guess when there's just a few more, it gets a little bit too hectic. Whoa, what the frig was that? Back off, dog. These actually do remind me a lot of the teleporting dogs from Dark Souls, except they don't teleport. I've also figured out a real cool combo. It's a stab, kick, dash forward, and then you finish off your combo with the old smackaroony. Hell yeah! God, this is pretty good. This is like, I don't know. It's weird because like I never thought that this would feel like a game, like an actual game. But it's already starting to kind of, I don't know, I figured that like it would always feel really clunky and feel like it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. But at the moment it's kind of just like I'm thinking of like little combat strategies and stuff just like I would any other game, which is really surprising. So it's a good sign, if anything. I just have to figure out what we're doing next and then I'll keep going, I guess.